She doesn't actually want to be loved. Not really. She wants to be the kind of person who deserves it, and those are two completely different jobs. One of them is terrifying. The other is just homework. And she's always been very, very good at homework. So she picked the safer one. She picked it years ago. She just hasn't admitted it yet. 7:32 p.m. The yellow highlighter has been hovering over the same sentence about covalent bonds for 4 minutes now, maybe 5. The cap is off, the tip is drying out. She knows it's drying out. She doesn't move it. Her phone is face up on the left side of the desk, exactly 2 inches from the spine of the chemistry textbook. She measured it without measuring it. The pens are aligned parallel to the notebook, 3 of them, evenly spaced, like little soldiers waiting for an order that isn't coming. The desk lamp is on, even though the evening sun is still bleeding through the blinds in long orange stripes across her wrist. She told herself the lamp was for focus. It wasn't. It was so the screen of her phone wouldn't look so bright, so obvious. So she could pretend she wasn't really looking at it. But she's looking at it. The screenshots her best friend sent 23 minutes ago are still glowing there. A whole conversation between her best friend and some guy named Jordan. Blue bubbles, gray bubbles, a laughing emoji, a haha, you're trouble. And Emma has read all of it. Twice. 3 times. She's not studying. She knows she's not studying. But if anyone walked in right now, her mom, her brother, anyone, she would still be able to point at the textbook and say, midterm Thursday. And technically, that would be true. Technically is doing a lot of heavy lifting in her life lately. The thing she tells herself, the official story, is that this is a study break. A quick one. A favor. Her best friend Maya is spiraling, Maya's word, always Maya's word, about whether to double text this guy, and Emma is just helping. Just for a second. Just being a good friend. Then back to electron configurations. That's the lie she's running, out loud, in her head, to no one. Because here's what's actually happening. She has memorized this guy's texting rhythm. She knows he uses periods at the end of sentences when he's being dry, and no punctuation when he's flirting. She knows he took 47 minutes to reply to Maya's last message, and that the reply was 8 words long. She has built a profile, a psychological dossier, on a stranger, for a romance she is not in, and she is so good at it. That's the part nobody talks about. She is so unbelievably good at decoding other people's love lives. She can look at 3 screenshots and tell you whether he's actually interested or just bored at work. She can write a reply in Maya's voice that will make his stomach do that thing. She has done it before, multiple times. There is a guy in another zip code right now who is half in love with a version of Maya that Emma wrote, and nobody knows. That's the payoff. That's the dirty little engine humming underneath all of this. She gets to be the invisible hand, the ghostwriter, the one in the group chat that everyone says, "Oh my God, you're literally so smart about this stuff," to, and then nobody asks her about her own life because what would they even ask? There's nothing there to ask about. And that's not an accident. That is a decision she made. She just made it so quietly, so many times in a row, that it stopped feeling like a decision and started feeling like a personality. She picks up the phone. Maya has sent another screenshot, and a string of question marks, and the words, "Emma, help." And something in her, something small and warm and absolutely pathetic, lights up. Because she's needed, right now, in this exact second. Somebody, somewhere, is sitting on the edge of their bed waiting for her to tell them what to do. And that is a kind of love, isn't it? It's not the kind in the screenshots. It's not, "Haha, you're trouble." But it's something. It's a seat at the table. It's proof of life. She tells herself she'll answer in a minute. She doesn't go back to the textbook. The highlighter is still bleeding into the same sentence. The covalent bond she was supposed to be memorizing is now a fat yellow smudge, the word underneath it warped and unreadable, and she doesn't even notice. Because the hostage is memorizing the exits. Because the architect is studying the blueprints of a house she will never, ever live in. And in the back of her mind, the quietest voice she has is already starting to draft Maya's perfect reply. Let's stop the tape for a second. Let's actually look at what she's doing. Because what she's doing is not what she thinks she's doing. She thinks she's being a good friend. She thinks this is generosity, loyalty, the selfless thing. She has built an entire moral framework around the idea that helping Maya text a boy is a small, kind, throwaway favor, like passing the salt. But the math doesn't add up. Generosity doesn't memorize. Generosity doesn't keep a profile. Generosity gives the advice and walks away. What Emma is doing is not giving. What Emma is doing is feeding. Because here is the sick little engine. Here is the algorithm humming under the floorboards of her brain. The one she would never say out loud. The one she doesn't even let herself think in full sentences. The algorithm goes like this. If she is the architect of other people's love stories, she never has to live in one. She gets to feel the warmth of the fire, the giddy texts, the should I double text panic, the will he call tonight, without ever having to put her own hand near the flame. She gets the heat. She skips the burn. And that is a beautiful, beautiful trade. On paper, it looks like love by proxy. It looks like she's surrounded by it. Group chat full of crushes, phone full of screenshots. She is, by any objective measure, deeply involved in romance. Just not hers. Never hers. And the genius of it, the genuinely impressive, terrible genius of it, is that nobody can accuse her of being lonely. Look how many people need her. Look how loved she is. Look how busy her phone is. Lonely people don't have phones this busy. But here's the thing about being the architect. Nobody expects the architect to live in the house. Nobody walks up to the woman with the blueprints and says, "But what about you? What do you want? What kind of doors do you want in your own life?" She designed it that way. She picked up the role specifically because the role doesn't have a romantic subplot. The supportive friend in every movie ever made gets exactly one scene of her own, and it's usually a montage. And Emma read that script and thought, yes, I'll take that one. Less screen time, less risk. Sign me up. Because here's the part she will not admit. Not to Maya, not to her mother, not to the ceiling fan she stares at every night until the blades blur into one soft circle of nothing. The reason she doesn't try, the reason she doesn't post the selfie, the reason she doesn't reply to the guy from bio class who's clearly fishing. It's not that she's too busy with pre-med. It's not that she's focused on her future. Those are the press releases. Those are what she tells the adults. The real reason is much uglier. The real reason is that being overlooked is a clean ache. It's a familiar ache. She has lived inside it her whole life, and she knows exactly how it fits. Being chosen, though, being actually chosen by someone, sitting across from them while they really look at her, while they get close enough to see what's actually in there, that is a dirty risk. That is a risk where she could find out in real time that she's still not enough. That even with all the grades, all the helpfulness, all the carefully arranged pens and carefully arranged smile, the answer is still no. That even at her best, the verdict is still not quite. And she cannot survive that. She has decided somewhere underneath language that she literally cannot survive that information. So her shadow self made a deal years ago. The deal was, we will never find out. We will never put it to the test. We will be so useful, so necessary, so plugged into everyone else's love life that nobody ever notices we never had one of our own. And when we ache, and we will ache, every night, around 3 a.m. when the house is quiet, at least it'll be the ache we know. At least it'll be ours. At least nobody got to hand it to us. That's the door she keeps locking from the inside. That's the trap. She thinks she's protecting herself from rejection, but what she's actually protecting is a story. A specific story about who she is. The good daughter, the smart one, the reliable one, the one who has it all figured out. If she walks onto the battlefield and gets hit, if she likes a boy and he doesn't like her back, if she puts herself out there and lands on her face, the story cracks. And the story is the only thing holding the rest of her together. So she stays in the bunker, the supportive friends bunker. It is the safest building in the entire emotional architecture of high school, of college, of every group of women who have ever existed. Inside it, you cannot lose, because you were never playing. You cannot be rejected, because you never asked. You cannot be left, because you were never claimed. You just slowly disappear, quietly, helpfully, with perfect grammar and excellent advice. And every time she helps somebody else fall in love, she gets a little hit of the warmth and a slightly larger hit of the proof that she was right to never try. Because look how messy it gets. Look how scary it is out there. Aren't you glad you stayed inside? She is not glad. She just doesn't know that yet. The cursor blinks. That's all it does. It just blinks. Inside the chat window with Maya, the little gray text box is empty, and the cursor is doing its small, idiotic pulse, waiting for instructions, waiting for Emma to tell it what kind of person she's going to be tonight. And for the first time in maybe a year, Emma is not typing the witty reply. She's typing something else. Quietly, slowly, with her thumbs hovering like she's diffusing something. She types, "Hey, can I be honest for a second?" Then she stops. Her mouth moves, soundlessly. She is rehearsing it. She is having the entire fight in her head, in the fading orange light, with a Maya who is not here. A Maya she has built for this one specific argument and will dismantle the second it's over. She pictures Maya reading it. She pictures Maya's 3 little dots appearing, disappearing, appearing again. And then Emma in her head says the rest of it. The whole rest of it. The thing she has been not saying for 2 years. She mouths it at the empty room, and the words are so loud inside her skull they almost feel said. "I'm so tired of ghostwriting your happiness while I have nothing. I'm so tired of being the smart one in the group chat about boys when no boy has ever, not once, looked at me the way Jordan looks at you in those screenshots. I am tired of being useful. I want to be wanted. And every time you send me one of these, I feel like I'm being asked to cater my own funeral." She drafts it twice. She doesn't type it. She just thinks it, hard, with her mouth half open like a fish. And then she runs the trade-off. The same trade-off she runs on everything. The cost-benefit chart she has been keeping in her head since she was 12. Path A. Send it. Tell the truth. Press the little blue arrow. What she gains. Oxygen. One single lungful of real air. The relief of finally being a person with an inside that matches her outside. Maybe even, and this is the dangerous one, this is the one she can't let herself look at directly. Maybe even the chance that Maya says, "Oh my God, I had no idea. Tell me about you. What do you want? Who do you like?" Maybe a real conversation. Maybe a friendship that has 2 chairs in it instead of 1 chair and a help desk. What she loses, everything else. Because she knows Maya. Maya is not cruel. Maya is just busy being the main character. And the main character does not want to find out that her sidekick has been quietly bleeding the whole time. It's inconvenient. It rewrites the show. The texts will get shorter. The screenshots will go to someone else. The "Emma help" will become "NVM figured it out." And one day, maybe in 3 weeks, maybe in 3 months, Emma will check her phone at 11 p.m. and realize the group chat hasn't pinged in 4 days, and that it's because they've made a new one, without her, because she became the bitter friend, the one who couldn't just be happy for people, the one who made it weird. Path B. Don't send it. Backspace. Cap the highlighter. Type the witty reply. What she gains? Her seat at the table. The warmth. The proximity. The feeling, however thin, however borrowed, that she is part of something romantic, something alive. The pretty lie that being adjacent to love is the same as being inside it. What she loses? Herself. Slowly. In increments so small that no individual increment is worth crying about. Just a Tuesday at a time. A screenshot at a time. A perfect reply at a time. Until one day she's 24, then 30, then 40, and she's still the one everyone calls when they need to decode a text, and her own inbox is a wasteland, and her own story doesn't have a main character, just a very competent narrator describing other people's weddings. She mouths the angry truth one more time, looks at the empty chat box, looks at the cursor still blinking, still waiting, still neutral, still not judging her. She whispers, "Nevermind," to the empty room. Nobody hears it. That's sort of the point. She backspaces, letter by letter. Honest disappears. Second disappears. Hey disappears. The little gray box is empty again, like she was never there, like she never almost said anything at all. She caps the yellow highlighter with a small, precise click, aligns it parallel to the others. 3 little soldiers again. Order restored. Then her thumbs start moving, fast, fluent. She types the perfect, witty, slightly mean, slightly flirty reply for Maya to send to Jordan. She doesn't even have to think about it. She knows his rhythm. She knows what'll work. She hits send. Maya gets him. Emma gets the warmth of the fire one more time through the wall. The covalent bond on the page is still a yellow smudge. The midterm is still Thursday. The ceiling fan upstairs in her parents' room is starting up. She can hear it from here. She is, as always, fine. She's just tired.